to It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So we have two huge announcements in the sport of boxing that just take place. Okay, we have 4-division world champion, Mexican superstar boxer, Leo Santa Cruz, who Leo Santa Cruz is now going to have a fight at 1:30 this February 5th, this upcoming Saturday. Leo Santa Cruz, 37 wins, 2 losses, 1 draw, 19 wins by way of knockout. Leo Santa Cruz, 5'7.5" with a 69-inch arm reach. Okay. With that said, Leo Santa Cruz will be taking on Kenan Carballes this upcoming Saturday as a co-main event to former unified welterweight world champion superstar boxer Keith one-time Thurman making his ring return after a 2.5-year layoff. This is for Leo Santa Cruz. Leo Santa Cruz last fought October of 2020 when he fought and lost a brutal knockout loss to undefeated 3-division world champion superstar boxer Gervonta Tank Davis. Okay, so with that said, Leo Santa Cruz will be making his ring return. Leo Santa Cruz is 33 years of age. Okay, against Kenan Carballes, and it's at 1:30. Now Leo Santa Cruz has admitted that he has not been interested in facing the longest reigning champion in the sport of boxing and former WBC featherweight world champion superstar boxer, Mr. Gary Russell Jr. Mr. Gary Russell Jr., who is now 31 wins, 2 losses, no draws, 18 wins by way of knockout. He too is 33 years of age, 5'4" with a 64-inch arm reach. Okay, Gary Russell Jr. was the longest reigning champion in the sport of boxing. He just recently lost his titles to MAGSAYO this past January 22nd, a few weeks ago. And he lost a majority decision in which Gary Russell Jr. clearly injured his right shoulder in the fight, brutally injured his right shoulder, was not able to use it from the 4th round on. And so Gary Russell Jr., he was limited to using his left hand for the duration of the fight. And now Gary Russell Jr., yes, he is a southpaw. But the thing to note here is Gary Russell Jr. is a natural right-hander who fights southpaw. So his actual dominant hand is his right hand, his lead hand, in which he was unable to use his lead hand because he injured his right shoulder in the fight. And yet he still, from the 4th round to the 12th round, made it to the 12th round against undefeated MAGSAYO, Filipino, now superstar boxer, who was undefeated and looked like he was 2 weight classes above him in MAGSAYO. MAGSAYO, you know, his output dropped, okay, in the fight, okay? So with that said, it fought to a split decision, majority decision for MAGSAYO, but at the end of the day, I personally thought Gary Russell did enough with one hand for 8 rounds to be successful and be the champion. Nonetheless, they gave the nod to MAGSAYO. So now Leo Santa Cruz is now saying that he wasn't having much interest in fighting Gary Russell Jr. And now he's going to go, should he be successful on Saturday against Kenan Carballes, he's going to now go back down to 126 because he wants to fight MAGSAYO. So Leo Santa Cruz, for years, has been avoiding a fight with Gary Russell Jr. Okay, for years, they could have unified the belts. Leo Santa Cruz, even though he was brutally knocked out by Gervonta Tank Davis, was able to keep his title, okay, and at 126, where he could have went there and instead of fighting Kenan Carballes, he could have went and fought Gary Russell Jr. in a massive unification bout. This would have been a bigger fight for Leo Santa Cruz, okay? Nonetheless, Leo Santa Cruz now has admitted he had no interest in fighting Gary Russell Jr. And now he says that he wants to fight MAGSAYO, or he wants to face off against the other champion in the division, Mexican superstar boxer EMMANUEL Navarrete, okay? So he wants to unify against EMMANUEL Navarrete if he can't secure the fight against MAGSAYO. This is truly, truly disappointing because a massive fight between himself and Gary Russell should have been taking place, okay? but it's abundantly clear that Leo Santa Cruz was stalling out the fight. Gary Russell Jr. did everything in his power to make a fight with Leo Santa Cruz, right? He even did some things that were frowned upon when he, hugged Leo Santa Cruz dad and said, your son is avoiding me, so on and so forth, because Leo Santa Cruz dad is sick, okay? And so with that said, he's been calling out Leo Santa Cruz all this time. For years, the best fighters in the division, 122 and 126, was avoiding Gary Russell Jr., okay? Abner Mares, Leo Santa Cruz, Carl Frampton, Scott Quigg. All of these guys avoided Gary Russell Jr., okay? Leo Santa Cruz could have had a unification bout, and yet Leo Santa Cruz, he decided to go in a different direction, okay, and not make the fight. And now he's looking forward to a fight with MAGSAYO, okay, because he feel like those are more winnable fights. And it's unfortunate because, Leo Santa Cruz, is a very nice guy. Leo Santa Cruz is a very good fighter, but it's definitely unfortunate that Leo Santa Cruz would go this route and let the world know he had no interest in ever fighting Gary Russell Jr. That's why the fight essentially never came to fruition, okay? That's very unfortunate, that Leo Santa Cruz would take that route. But it became abundantly clear, that Leo Santa Cruz, didn't truly, never felt confident that he could beat Gary Russell Jr., okay? He never truly felt that confident. So now Leo Santa Cruz has announced that. Then we have another Mexican fighter. It's ironic because everybody loves to point to the Mexican pride, the heart that the Mexican fighters show, and display, and that, everybody, loves a Mexican fighter because, they display the absolute heart of a champion. The Mexican fighters, they show the excitement. They have they are the most exciting fighters, and, they tell you how much you need a Mexican fighter to sell the fights, okay? It's very ironic that this is the case, and now you have another Mexican fighter in undefeated rising Mexican superstar title contender, King Ryan Garcia. Once again, now you have Ryan Garcia, who announced that he was willing to fight, what he called a B-level fighter in Mexican star boxer Isaac Pitbull Cruz, after Isaac Pitbull Cruz had gave Gervonta Tank Davis, who was become a rival of Ryan Garcia. Isaac Cruz gave Gervonta Tank Davis a pretty tough fight, a competitive fight. And after he gave Gervonta Tank Davis a competitive fight, Gervonta Tank Davis, he won a unanimous decision. But Ryan Garcia, he took to social media and said that Gervonta Tank Davis went the distance with a B-level fighter, a C-level fighter, that he would knock out in 4 rounds. So Isaac Cruz, he responded to Ryan Garcia, and he said, let's make the fight happen, send the contract. And Ryan Garcia, he stated how much he wanted this fight. Then it was talked about that, well, we know Isaac Cruz, they said that they sent Isaac Cruz a contract, and Isaac Cruz didn't want to sign the fight. They tried to make it that Isaac Cruz was avoiding the fight, so Isaac Cruz stated that he never got the contract. And then Isaac Cruz, his team, they sent Ryan Garcia a counter contract, okay? So with that said, now Ryan Garcia was also being talked about in a potential fight with Tevin Farmer, former IBF world champion, superstar boxer Tevin Farmer, right? It was being talked about that Ryan Garcia, he could possibly enter a fight with Tevin Farmer, okay? Well, we know that's not going to happen. And then it was being talked about that Ryan Garcia could possibly enter talks to face off against, Joseph Diaz. So these are all fights that Ryan Garcia claimed that he wanted, okay? But never actually had these fights come to fruition. So Ryan Garcia, he told the world he had a fight on the table for Manny Pacquiao. Then he told the world he had a fight scheduled with Gervonta Tank Davis. He was going to knock him out in 2-3 rounds. Those never came to fruition. Then Ryan Garcia went on a hiatus. He cited that he had health issues that he had to attend to. He was supposed to fight against Javier Fortuna in July. He pulled out of that fight. Then he was rescheduled to fight Joseph Jojo Diaz. He pulled out of that fight. Okay, cited that he had a hand injury. Now he talked up a fight saying that how Isaac Cruz was a C and B level, B and C level fighter that he would knock out in under 2 to 3 rounds, and he pulled out of that fight. He was supposed to fight Tevin Farmer. He would knock out Tevin Farmer. He pulled out of that fight. Well, now it's been announced that Ryan Garcia is going to fight EMMANUEL TAGOE, okay, who is 32 wins, 1 loss, no draws, 15 wins by way of knockout, 33 years of age, 5'8", with a 68-inch arm reach. Okay, so EMMANUEL TAGOE, he's undefeated outside of his pro debut. He was knocked out in his pro debut. Okay, so outside of being knocked out in his pro debut, okay, EMMANUEL TAGOE has been on a winning streak, a 31 fight winning streak. Okay, and so Ryan Garcia, 21 wins, no loss and no draws, 18 wins by way of knockout, 5'10" with a 70-inch arm reach, 23 years of age. Ryan Garcia is trying to, he attempted initially to try to prove to the world he was truly a real fighter. But Ryan Garcia shows every day that Ryan Garcia, he doesn't have the heart of a fighter. He doesn't have the mindset of a fighter. And now he's going to fight EMMANUEL TAGOE opposed to fighting Isaac Cruz and opposed to fighting Tevin Farmer and the much bigger fights that are on the table for him. It's amazing. But that's all I got for y'all. I don't know where the quote-unquote the heart of a lion, the heart of a Mexican fighter, the entertainment, because these two Mexican fighters, Leo Santa Cruz and Ryan Garcia, are not showing the heart of Mexican fighters. They're showing the heart of, you know, guys that are picking and choosing their ways through the sport of boxing. Now, Leo Santa Cruz, he had 2 big fights with Carl Frampton. One he lost, and then he came back and he won. He had 2 big fights with Abner Mares. But those fighters are tailor-made for Leo Santa Cruz's style. And when he stepped up against Gervonta Tank Davis, he was brutally knocked out. And he avoided, and made it abundantly clear, he avoided Gary Russell for the duration of his career. So let's see how this unfolds and plays out. But that's all I got for y'all. April 9th, you're going to get Ryan Garcia versus EMMANUEL TAGOE. That's all I got for y'all. Make sure you hit the like button. Drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button. Hit the bell icon to get all the new notifications. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shout out to the entire LDBC. Shout out to New Media. Shout out to Black Media Row. Make sure you like and share these videos. That's all I got for y'all. Peace.
Hi, my name is Heather the Heat Hardy, and you're watching Blue Blood Sports TV.